Hi, I'm Christine Strong, a senior at Greenville High School, and welcome to GISD Today, your first-hand look at what's going on in Greenville's public schools. We've got a great show for you today, including the word on a great achievement from the Greenville Middle School Academic UIL team, and news on a new program aimed at keeping your schools even more secure. But first, we want to introduce you to a very special educator. 2 teachers from Greenville were among those of 80 North Texas school districts honored this year as some of the state's best teachers. One of those was Vicki Thomason, a kindergarten teacher here at Bowie Elementary. Vicki was chosen as the district's Elementary Teacher of the Year and was advanced to the Regional Teacher of the Year competition. GISD Today's Brad Press sat down with Vicki recently and discovered that she loves every aspect of teaching.
Brad Press with GISD Today. We're at Bowie Elementary today. We're happy to be here visiting with Vicki Thomason, a kindergarten teacher at Bowie. Vicki was recently named Greenville ISD's Elementary School Teacher of the Year. First of all, Vicki, congratulations. I know you're very proud of that. We're very proud of you as well. Before we go any further, I did want to point out that Vicki was chosen from a list of elementary teachers that includes Linda Milton of Lamar Elementary, Christine McAllister of LP Waters Early Childhood Center, Margie Torrance of Travis Elementary, and Joyce Whitaker of Carver Elementary. So that's some pretty select company you've got there, Vicki. And once again, congratulations. I know you're proud of the honor, and again, we're proud of you as well. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been teaching?
This is my 11th year, my 7th year at Bowie. The other 4 were at Caddo Mills Elementary. All have been in kindergarten except for 1 year. That was in pre-K.
Pre-K, so you actually went up a way.
I did. Okay.
So you said that Caddo Mills was the only other teaching? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now Bowie Elementary is a bit of a family affair for Vicki Thomason, is it not?
It is. It is. I came to Bowie my 4th grade year. Back then it was 1st grade through 6th grade. So I came during my 4th grade year and was here through 6th grade. My husband also came to school here, and all 3 of our boys attended school here. They all 3 had Miss Sykes in kindergarten, and so it's a family affair. Now we're both teaching back here again.
So Bowie is truly a family affair for you. Let's talk a little bit about your career and what led you to teach. What is the background? Maybe some people and some of the events that persuaded you to become a teacher.
Well, as a little girl, I was one of those that loved playing school. And, of course, I had to be the teacher when we played. But as I grew older, I didn't think teaching is what I really wanted to do. Matter of fact, I went to a secretarial program through East Texas State University, and it was a 2-year program of business courses, and worked at E-Systems, as it was called back then, for 5 years. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to stay home with my kiddos. That's when I decided that I wanted to teach. As each one of them entered kindergarten and came through Bowie, I was up here volunteering all the time, kindergarten and 1st grade especially, and just seeing the things that the teachers did with the kids and seeing how the kids responded, and it was just wonderful to see their little faces light up when they learned something new and they were able to do it all by themselves, and it was just a really neat experience. And so I decided, I think this is what I want to be. So as our last child came through, Miss Betty Martin, who was his 1st grade teacher, she told me she waited till after her kids were all in school to go back to college. She said if she could do it, anybody could do it. So she was a real encouragement to me. I had to start all over, go back and take everything, basics and everything, and but it was all worth it. It was tough. It was tough with 3 little kids and married to a youth minister, and it was really tough, but it all worked out.
So when you say you played school when you were little, were you the teacher or were you the student when you played?
Of course, I was the teacher.
Okay. Is it just like you imagined it when you were little?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. A little bit tougher than that.
A little bit.
Now, before you became a teacher, you mentioned volunteer work. Did you do any other type of working with children before you became a teacher?
Well, as early as my teenage years, I helped with Bible classes at church, anywhere from toddler on up to junior high girls. Most of it, I guess, was at church, doing the Bible classes, different ages, vacation Bible school during the summers. I have gone on mission trips and taught children in other parts. I've been to Kiev, I've been to Guyana, and I've been to Belize, and have taught children in all those different countries. same setting, vacation Bible school type things. And so I've taught a lot of different children. It's not all been at school. But,
Right, right. Now, you went back to school, as we talked about before, as the 32-year-old wife of a youth minister, mother of 3 boys, aged 9, 7, and 4. That's a full-time job right there. What were your thoughts on going back to college and starting over? Was it something that was just natural and easy for you, or was it a pretty scary thing?
It was scary. I think anything new is kind of a scary thing. This is kind of a scary thing.
Yeah.
But I prayed about it. I pray about everything. So I did a lot of prayer, and I just depended on God to give me the strength to do it all. And there were nights that I did not get any sleep. After I got the kids fed and to bed and everything done with them, then I would stay up and do my homework. And when there were certain projects due, and sometimes there were more than one project due, those nights didn't get any rest. So, but it was all worth it. It really was.
Now, you've been teaching again for how many years total?
This is my 11th.
11th year. Do you ever have former students come back and see you?
I do, all the time. Especially on the first grade hall, as they go by to their first grade room, they come by and give me a hug every morning. I tell them, have a good day in first grade. I have a lot of the older ones come by when we have special days, like the 100th day of school or the gingerbread man hunt, things like that. Oh, I remember when we did that, and they'll start talking about it. One funny thing was a third grade teacher one time told me that they had a student, they were trying to spell the word squirrel. And the student remembered to put the U after the Q because they remembered back in kindergarten, Mr. Q and Miss U got married, and they're always together in a word. So
And they still remember
and
that.
they still remember that in third grade to help them spell the word squirrel. So
Now, you realize they'll still be relying on that when they're in 10th, 11th, and 12th
That's
grade,
okay.
maybe even in
That's all
college,
right.
but as long as they remember it.
that's okay.
We talked about this a few moments ago, but I'm reading now from your Teacher of the Year packet. Reaching across class, ethnic, and gender boundaries, community service is the yellow brick road leading to personal enrichment. Now, you mentioned some of the mission trips that you've done to Kiev and some other places like that. What's some of your local service-oriented work?
I've participated in the walkathons, the Drug-Free Greenville walkathons, the Walk Across Texas walks that they have each spring, the Relay for Life. Can you tell I like to walk?
Yes, I can tell. I can tell.
I've also, this past summer with our youth group, we had the privilege of going over to the Dallas area and helping with the Central Dallas Ministries, I believe it's called, and the North Texas Food Bank, and Rafa International, and the Children's Medical Center, and Scottish Rites, different places like that. So that was a good opportunity this summer.
You mentioned before, and one time we were talking before, that you don't see volunteer service as just volunteer service. You see volunteer service as a learning experience. How so?
Well, you kind of get out of yourself. You get out of your comfort zone. You have to step out of that box a little bit. You're used to teaching. You're used to dealing with this age of kids. But when you do something different like that, you're kind of out of your comfort zone, and you have to step out of that box, and you grow. You grow a little bit from it. I think I gain more from doing those types of things than I ever give to anybody. I come away feeling a lot better than I figure anybody else feels with me helping them. So it's a growing experience.
I'm going to ask you to try and get you to brag on yourself for a minute here. It's obvious your peers think you are an outstanding teacher. What is it about you, when you look at yourself, what is it about you that you think makes you an outstanding teacher?
Well, I guess no one really feels like they deserve anything like this. It is an honor. But I guess I just like making learning fun. I like for the kids to love coming to school, to love learning, look forward to every day. They've got 12 more years of learning. I don't want them to hate school right off the bat. I want them to enjoy coming every day and to be excited about learning, be excited about reading, just to instill my love for learning and my excitement in them.
What are some of the personal rewards that you find in teaching?
When you see that little light bulb turn on in their little heads, when they finally figured out something, or to see their faces, I did it, they're so proud of themselves because they finally have been able to do something. When they have read this book all by themselves and they just have this look on their face like, wow, I did this. It's just a really good feeling, to think that you kind of helped them do that a little bit. Now, we have some very bright students, so they have a lot from home.
Right.
But it is a good feeling to see them have
Now,
that light turn on.
as a teacher, do you always have to look for new and effective ways? Or I mean, you've been teaching now for 11 years. Are kids the same as they've always been in the time you've been teaching, or do you always have to look for new and effective ways to teach kids and to instill in them that desire to learn, like you talked about?
I think every group's different.
Okay.
Every year is a different year. And you just have to look at the group as a whole, see where they are. They all have different backgrounds. They come with different things, some more than others. And you just have to take them from where they are and try to get them to where they need to be. The way we do that has changed. This year is a good example. We have a new curriculum this year. So, things change. You can't do anything about that. You just change your attitude about it, and you do the best you can, and you go on. There was a church, I love to read the church billboard signs, and it said, we may not be able to change our circumstances, but we can change our attitude about them. So that's what I try to do every day is, things change. Things are going to keep changing. As long as we're alive, things are going to change. So just going with the flow, doing the best you can with whatever change comes along, taking it and use it to the best of your ability to get them to where they need to be.
That's a great attitude to have. We'll get you out here on this one last question. You've said, I've heard you say before, that teaching is a very personal experience for you. How so?
My kids in my classroom are like my own kids, and I tell them that. I tell them that from day one. You're like my own boys and girls. I'll be your mom at school, and you're going to be my boys and girls at school. I try to treat my students as if they were my own kids. I think back how my children were treated, how I would want my children treated, and I try to do the same for my kiddos here at school. If they need a hug, I give them a hug. If they're having a bad day, we take time out and we deal with it. At the same time, I want them to be the best boys and girls they can be, and I tell them that all the time too. If I didn't love them, I wouldn't care what they did. But I do love them, and I want them. My expectations are very high, and I want them to be the best boys and girls that they can be. And I tell them that all the time. They know that. They know Ms. Thomason expects a lot, and they really try to do it. We have a little promise, a little pledge that we do every day. Today I will be proud of me, and others will be proud of me too. I came to school to learn. I will learn. I will have a great day. I'm proud to be a Bowie Bulldog. And so we start our day off every day like that, so they know what's expected. And I really do take it personally because they're like my own kids.
Well, you say high expectations. You've got high expectations, and I bet those high expectations are just one reason why you are Greenville ISD's Elementary Teacher of the Year. I've enjoyed talking with you greatly.
Brian. Thanks.
Signing off with Vicki Thomason, Greenville ISD's Elementary Teacher of the Year. We're visiting now with Carol Petty. Carol is the principal of Bowie Elementary, I believe in her second year here at Bowie. Carol, what makes Vicki such an integral part of the Bowie family?
Well, Brad, I think that she'll tell you that it is a family affair for her, as you've talked about her family being here and her children. But the thing that makes Vicki, to me, such a special teacher is just her love for life. It's obvious if you're around her very long that she loves life. And she, just pulls all the stops out and she goes after it. And she's got a infectious smile that you just couldn't be around her and have a bad day, really. She's certainly an energy giver, and she puts her heart and soul into what she does.
She does seem to have a really good attitude about just life in general. And like I said, she does have that. She's about as enthusiastic as anybody you'll ever meet. Now, as principal, you've had many an opportunity to witness her teaching, to see her in action in the classroom. What techniques do you think make her so effective as a teacher?
Well, we talk about sometimes at staff meeting that how do you really make a school perform at a high level? And we've said every lesson is well planned and well taught. And if you're in her classroom, you would see that what seems like just an ordinary lesson, she will have all the materials that she's generally made herself ready for it, to make it special, to make it come to life. It's more than a worksheet. It's more than just reading a story. Things that she spent a lot of time and effort in making every lesson. You wouldn't think you might do that once a week or so, but she really puts a lot of time and effort into planning. You know, she's one of the first ones here every morning. I have a lot of teachers that get here early, but she's one of the first ones here, and, you know, she's not out the door when the bell rings. So it takes a lot of time and energy, and she's willing to put that into it because I think she truly loves what she's doing.
She's obviously a dedicated teacher, but, you know, from listening to her talk about her children going to Bowie, her going to Bowie, and her husband going to Bowie, she seems also to be very dedicated to Bowie also.
Well, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
thing for Bowie. Because she has a servant's heart. She really does. And like here at Bowie this year, one of the things that she stepped out and said, I can do that, is that she is the UIL coordinator, the University Interscholastic League. We took part this year in 15, we had 15 different teams compete in our area, in our zone, and Ms. Thomason coordinated all of that, as well as coached a team. And, you know, she wants Bowie to shine. We have a little shirt that we wear that says, you know, Bowie shines, and she wants Bowie to shine. It is very important to her, and it is personal to her.
So, something before we start filming, something that you mentioned kind of echoes something she said. You said you want kids to have a great start to their school career at Bowie. And Vicki said she really wants them to love school. I can't imagine someone getting a better start to their school career than being in Vicki Thomason's classroom. Can you? I
cannot imagine anywhere. She extends the learning. The vocabulary is rich. They know a lot of things about what's going on in the world, as well as just, you know, learning phonics and all the things that you need to learn with mathematics and all to be ready for first grade. But it's the conversations that she has with the children are done at a high level, and there's not any thought that, well, these children can't understand that, because as she says, I think she treats them as if they were her own children, and she wants them to do well, to succeed, and have that shining start to their school experience.
I visited her classroom a few weeks ago, and obviously elementary teachers are comfortable with that age children, but I don't think I've ever seen a teacher so in tune with kids that she was teaching as far as that age group. She had their attention the whole time that I was in there. They literally hang on every word she says. So it's obvious that she has a connection to that age child.
She makes it look easy, but it's not easy. Kindergarten is not easy. You know, Ms. Thomason last year was a tutor for one of our third grade groups before we took the math test, and she does just the same thing with third graders that she does with kindergartners. So she's a person who kind of transcends age, even though kindergarten seems to be her calling, and she does a outstanding job there, but she can work with other students as well. This year she was the coach for second grade storytelling, and they did a really good job too.
Ms. Petty, as you know, Vicki Thomason was chosen the Greenville ISD's Elementary School Teacher of the Year. Would you concur and say that is a good choice?
Well, of course, I would think it was the best choice. And I'm prejudiced, I will admit, because, of course, I'm so proud of her being from Bowie. But I truly can't imagine. We have a lot of fine teachers in this district, and I have great respect for the other teachers who were nominated. But Vicki does bring that joy to learning that we've talked about before. And in every aspect, she does have that servant's heart. She's always the one that's willing to say, I can do that, and I'll do that, and does a wonderful job, a very quality job of any task that comes her way, and does it with that beautiful smile.
Well, Carol, you are very fortunate to have Vicki on your campus. Thank you for the time. Carol Petty.
Thank you. We've enjoyed being here today.
Mm-hmm.
We've enjoyed being here today. Forget that. Who's we? I don't know.
We're visiting now with Christy Gore. Christy is a fifth grade teacher at Bowie Elementary, formerly a first grade teacher at Bowie Elementary. Very good acquaintance of Vicki Thomason. Let's talk about Vicki for a second. Christy, what makes Vicki's such a valuable part of the team here at Bowie Elementary?
You know, you could ask Vicki for help anytime, during the day, call her at night, on the weekends, which I have, and, you know, she's there. And she doesn't brush you off. She's very good to think about it. She'll come back to you days later, send an email and say, Christy, have you tried this? Have you thought about this? I know what you're talking about now. You know, even if I figured out something, you know, it's always, but wait, you could still do this. And she's just very in tune with what's going on. She knows what we're doing. You know, she doesn't live in her own little cocoon. She's out there with us and, you know, willing to share and help out in any way she can.
Now, you've had a chance to probably observe firsthand some of her teaching techniques. You've also had a chance to observe students that have been in her class when they're in kindergarten. What are some of the techniques that she uses or some of the ways that she teaches that makes her so effective in the kindergarten classroom?
She's very consistent. You know, she doesn't make a statement, we're going to do this, and then not do it. She does that with her discipline as well as what she's teaching. When I remember one of the first things I saw about her that was so cool, she had called me in, you know, during her lunchtime when we were walking down the hall to get ready to go, you know, for our lunch. And she said, come look. And she had her room set up like a wedding chapel. She had moved all the desks out and put the chairs there. And they were having a wedding for letter Q and U because Q and U are always together.
Always together.
You know, they have to always be together. And so, you know, she just goes above and beyond. She does the extra things. And she makes it fun for the kids, so they're involved there. I also had a child in her room.
Okay.
And, you know, the things he would come home with, the sayings, he just did great. And, you know, he was reading when he left kindergarten, which just thrilled me. I just think reading's very important. And, you know, Vicki just emphasized that, but she didn't leave out everything else. It was all included. She's just a bundled up package.
Bundled up package. She's also a bundled up package of energy.
Oh, yes. Lots of energy. She smiles all the time.
Constantly.
You know, and I'm sure other people have said that, you know. Even I've heard her fussing at a student before, and she still had a smile on her face. And I'm like, how do you do that, you know?
Yeah, it's not physically possible, I don't think, to do that, but she
Yeah.
somehow was able to do that. Well, thank you for your time, Christy. I appreciate your
Sure.
insight.
Thanks.
And before we toss it over to our good news brief, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. Britton Chevrolet, Dr. Les Sandknop Family Practice, Quick Car Auto Spa, Quick Car Lube and Tune, and Greenville Power Sports.
Hi, I'm Kamika Brown, a senior at Greenville High School, and it's time for our Good News Brief. With Greenville ISD increasing its emphasis on academic competition, at least one campus seems to have gotten the message loud and clear that competition doesn't just occur on the athletic field. Greenville Middle School turned in a solid performance recently at its University Interscholastic League academic meet, winning 11 individual first-place awards and several team events. The meet also included schools from Roy City, Farney, Terrell, and Sunnyvale. Greenville won team events in calculator application, mathematics, number sense, science, editorial writing, oral reading, and ready writing. Greenville High School's FFA chapter won its 5th consecutive National Chapter Award. Greenville was the only high school agriculture program in Texas selected as a finalist. High school seniors Carlos De La Guardia and Alicia Kobilecki have been named commended students in 2008 for the National Merit Scholarship Program. Carlos and Alicia are two of about 34,000 commended students throughout the nation being recognized for exceptional academic promise. For more good news about Greenville ISD, check out the district's website at www.greenvillisd.com. To find out what's going on at Greenville High School, visit the GHS online student newspaper at www.lionledgers.com. Now it's time to plan your life. Let's wrap up our Good News Brief with a look at what's happening in the near future.
We'll wrap up this edition of GISD Today on Juice 34. In coming weeks, we'll introduce you to Greenville ISD's Secondary Teacher of the Year and the JSD's new Superintendent of Schools, and even bring you a special performance from some very talented students at Carver Elementary. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.